All right, Chi-Town, we should be live now. We're covering how protest voting could serve the black one. Protest voting.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Absolutely. Fair use, y'all. Let's share the link.
What are you looking at, slave?
Silence is violence, and evil's greatest ally. Those who turn a blind eye act like they don't know why. Say the police would not use such behavior. If you white, you right and have favor. But if you black, your body's pile high. Sight unseen, right in front of your face on the video screen, know what I mean? Popo lie. Fear for their life from an unarmed man. I guess he felt melanin was his weapon. They killed.
Nigga, get your hand out my pocket.
Get no charges and go free. So we need to be on our P's and Q's. Don't play no fool. The rules ain't fair. Life ain't no crystal stair. So we best prepare. Our little people, if you see something, say something.
12.
Show the world we do care. So beware. Silence is violence. Get you a trip to the devil's lair.
Self Love, you done did it again, Loop. You a genius.
We live. Let's get it in. Protest vote. Is it?
O block right here. I shit call this shit no block. It's 10 o'clock. Where the fuck y'all niggas at? Here, this what y'all wanted me in Chicago. O block right here. I shit call this shit no block. It's 10 o'clock. Where the fuck y'all niggas at? Niggas ain't outside. It's only 10 p.m. Where the fuck y'all niggas at, blood?
O Block right now. Where we at? Tell you something, man. This Nino Brown, man. I'm live on O Block right now. Where we at? This O Block. I'm from Miami. I just want to tell niggas, man, we gotta stop killing each other, man. Yeah, this shit ain't about nothing. All that killing shit, we gotta work together, man. Stop killing each other, my nigga. I had to come over here and tell niggas that shit, my nigga.
I'm right here. See where I'm at. I'm out here. Black Star Line cigars. From grown man. On some grown man stuff. And to the PDs, stop doing that killing. Please, stop doing that killing. In entering upon this course of instruction, each of you should, so far as possible, lay aside for the time being all previous theories and beliefs. By so doing, you will be saved the trouble of trying
All the way through the show.
to put, quote, new wine into old wineskins, end quote. Luke chapter 5, verse 37. If there's anything as we proceed which you don't understand or agree with, just let it lie passively in your mind until you have enjoyed the entire show. For many statements that would at first arouse antagonism and discussion will be cleared and easily accepted a little farther on. After the show is over, if you wish to return to your old beliefs and ways of living, you are at perfect liberty to do so. But for the time being, be willing to become as a little child.
Please like, share, and
Who
subscribe.
said the master in spiritual things, quote, except ye become as little children. Ye shall in no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven, end quote. Matthew chapter 18, verse 3. If at times
Messed up, my
there
boy.
seems to be repetition, please remember, the Self Luv Show is a lesson, not a lecture.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones,
Facts.
but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change.
24 years ago today, iconic rapper Tupac Shakur was shot here in Las Vegas.
The rapper was shot inside of a BMW while stopped at a red light on Koval and Flamingo. We all know the story. He then died 6 days later. The shooting happened after a Mike Tyson fight against Bruce Sheldon at MGM Grand. And then there was a brawl inside of the lobby right after that fight. Tupac was in the car with Marion Suge Knight, who was grazed by a bullet. No one has ever been arrested for Tupac's murder.
And even in this instance, if I could be of service to a 9-year-old girl or a 19-year-old woman or girl who wants to be a woman, is to really remember that self-love is the best way that you can receive love from anybody else, because it's coming from you. A lot of times we forget that. We look externally for this love. We look externally for this feeling of validation and adoration and approval, and it has to come from within.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Can you handle the truth? The truth is like the cream. It's always gonna rise to the top. Shot time. Cue the music, please. Absolutely. Self-love. Vision. We're black. Big topic tonight. Protest voting. We know there's only a two-party system, as they say. But so what? Does that mean we have to continue to keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting the same result? That's what we on tonight. We're going to ask some questions to all you loyal Democrats and Republicans and leftists and rightists and this, that, and the fourth. But welcome to Chi-Town's very own The Self Love Show. We got two mottos. Motto number one, on earth as it is in heaven. Bing. All praises due to the ancestors. Big ups to my late Mama Sky. Rest up. Our second motto is as above, so below. We can be found right now, exclusively, Malcolm exclusively, on the YouTube channel. This ain't that network. Or as we say in this acronym age of millennials, TATN. This is co-host 9 Millie, also known as Self. What down, Chi-Town, et al. What down? Repeat after he. I am greater than my excuse. I am greater than my excuse. I am greater than my excuse. Today is hump day 420. That's right, 420 up. 2022, and we live. And we like to acknowledge that all you cats can be any place at any time in this magnanimous universe. But thankfully, we all scooter chose to be here together. Chicago kids and all. Here together. What down? What you manifesting today? Self-love.
Love, man. You know what I'm manifesting? I'm manifesting love.
Yes, sir.
What you
manifesting? Man, same here, brother. Pure, magnificent, magnanimous, unfiltered, unadulterated vibration of pure love. Some say it's harsh. Some say it's tough. We the kids from Chicago. So what's been going on in your neck of the Chi, Brody?
I see that the city is trying to get the 2024 Democratic Convention here.
Oh, all right. Pro for today's topic, I should say, huh? Very pro.
Yes.
All right. So you're gonna be out there, crying and waving your American flag around like a good little citizen?
No.
Not at all.
To each his own. Choose the mobile phone.
Yeah, because theoretically, I would, want to do something a little different to the Democratic convention, but
we'll save it.
Not gonna talk about that on here. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna unpack that. We're gonna unpack that here today. Yeah, silence is violence out there. All right, but for you cats who may have never been here, this is the Self Love Show. What you can expect on today's show. We always have the Self Love Show quote of the day. And then we roll over the MGD video. That's more growth and development. That's our platform. That's our foundation. That's what we stand upon. It's a short video, less than 1 minute. Please pay attention. And then, of course, we run a short video coming from a news segment. Fake news, some may say. And Self Love and I, we decipher it, unpack it, and we decide if it's tattoo tyranny or not. We got a great one lined up for you today. And then, of course, we have our dome teaser. All right. For you guys who may not know what a dome teaser is, I mean, that can mean anything. It has no sexual connotation, I can assure you. But the dome teaser is a riddle. All right. So we're going to give you the riddle, and we'll give you the entire duration of the show to process the key to said riddle. We feel like the brain is a muscle, and you need to exercise said muscle, or lest your brain goes fallow. Today's topic is, what is protest voting, and how could protest voting be used as a B1, that's Black First, political strategy here in the so-called United States of America? Because, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. This is the biggest election. Everybody's got to vote. We got the midterms. We need all the houses so we can, make Asian hate bills, give Ukraine money, and do studies for reparations, and keep the police like it is. But, and then, of course, we'll roll over next week's sneak peek. Got a wonderful guest we're looking forward to speaking with. So we'll tell you what that's about at the end of the show. And then, of course, my personal favorite part of the whole shebang, and that's this brother to my right, Brother Wordsmith's final words out there. And that's where he has a bit of prose, and it's off the rip, off the dome. All right. Top of the dome, freestyle. I think there's a word for that the pink people use. What is it? Can't think of it. For
spontaneous, whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, but it's close. The actors use it too.
Improvise.
Yeah, there it is. Yep, improvisation. Yeah, and it's a work of genius. He blows my mind show after show. But enough of this yapping. And what about the announcements, Self? You got any announcements out there?
Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, share it far and wide. I don't have any announcements this week.
Well, good news. I rode in a Uber today, as my Latinx people call it, and didn't have to wear the face diaper.
Oh, yeah.
So
I read it.
The federal government said that, these guys overstepped their bounds, and that basically it was tyranny with these mandates, and they deemed it illegal. The airplanes, pretty soon you'll be flying an airplane. The owner of my company said he flew today face diaper free. Yeah?
They said they pretty much eased them all back. But you know what's interesting? And I didn't think about this. I haven't been on a flight. I've never worn it on the flight. I ain't been on a flight this long. That's wild.
During the pandemic?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, and so also, I don't know if it's like that in the shy, because you probably don't hit pubic transportation, but yeah, same thing on the buses, trains, and everything. It's optional. So if you want to wear a face diaper,
go right on ahead.
If you want to wear a tin cap, you can what, Self?
Put it on all day, every day, twice on
That's
Sunday.
That's right, but you can't demand that I wear a tin cap.
Better not ask me anything about that.
Right. And big ups to all the chat rats out there. You guys are the smartest chat on the internet. I know I go hard, but it's tough love out there. But we definitely appreciate your support. If you have any commentary, it's interactive. As Self Love is typed in the chat, have at it. Don't be shy out there. And the algorithm, loves that interaction, right, Self?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Algorithm's just a dancer.
The algorithm is a dancer. All right, enough of my yapping. I'll turn it over to this brother so he can handle his business.
As always, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, share it far and wide. We have the more growth and development video that we are building the Self Love Nation off of. But before that, we have the Self Love Show quote of the day. The first duty of a man is to think for himself. I said, the first duty of a man is to think for himself. Joseph Marti. And check this out. We'll be right back at you. Silverback More Growth and Development Platform. Number 1, repair our nation via reparations. We demand our silver back.
Cut the crap,
Number
cut
2,
the check.
to connect our breadwinners with our activists. And 3, show an accurate depiction of African American Chi-Town. 4, to shine a light on positive influences. 5, heal our community one person at a time. 6, to provide an unfiltered platform for our influencers. 7, recycle the black dollar. 8, to provide mentors for the mentorless. 9, to close the gap between us and our pink kinsmen.
We're closing the gap. We're closing the gap. And top it off at number 10. Will yourself
And
love?
10, protect our women and children by all means necessary.
Any and every means necessary. Yeah, we got Sharuka Islam said, burn it down to the ground and sit down, huh? You know what I mean? Big ups, big ups.
Big ups.
Yeah, big ups. All right, so we got just a quick commentary on last week's show. We covered how social media has affected B1, the pros and the cons. I think we did a thorough job, huh?
Yeah, it was great. Lots of information spread out. I advise you to go check it out.
Yeah, I'd say social media is like any other tool. You could take a hammer and smack yourself on the head with it over and over, or you can use it, effectively and hang pictures and build a house and then hang pictures. Yeah, great point. Great point. All right, so we're moving right along here. And yeah, you guys check it out. It's titled How Social Media Has Affected B1. You'll be able to find it from that. And it's right on TATN, so you can easily scroll through our videos. All right, like, share, subscribe. But Self, did you see? You may have seen this. It's been all over the news, but more body cam tyranny.
Not sure.
Yeah, you may have seen it, but I know you stay unplugged, but we got some body cam tyranny for you out here.
Here you go.
A 26-year-old man is pulled over for having the wrong license plate on his car. Things quickly escalate.
Hey, stay in the car! Stay in the car! Do you have a driver's license? Do you speak English? Can I see your license?
What do you want?
Do you have a driver's license?
Yes.
Where is it at?
It's in the car.
Get it for me.
Patrick Lioya, an immigrant from Africa, talks to someone in the passenger seat. He does not produce his license. Instead, he closes the door and walks away.
No. Stop. Put your hands right.
Lioya starts running. The Grand Rapids, Michigan officer radios for help.
1915. Got one running. North south.
The officer tackles him.
Okay. Damn.
Stop!
Lioya gets back on his feet, grabbing for the taser. You can hear it firing. They struggle for control of the weapon.
Let go of the taser! Drop the taser!
And it's at this point in the tape you can see the officer reach for his firearm. He shoots Lioya in the back of the head, killing him.
You see a police officer escalate a minor traffic stop into a deadly execution.
The killing is leading to a chorus of outrage in Grand Rapids.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
And on the airways, some experts say they are troubled at what the video shows.
He pulls his taser, which is problematic because he's so close. The individual is able to grab his arm.
There's a lot of questions. Were there other things the officer should have done? It's a tragic death for a traffic stop.
We spoke to retired LA Police Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey.
We see the officer draw his weapon, and that's the last thing that you want to do when you're on the ground grappling with someone, because you could have an accidental discharge. You could wind up with a situation where now you've shot someone in the head.
The police department says what happened is a tragedy and the investigation is ongoing, adding they will not identify the officer unless he is charged.
What do you mean they won't identify him? It's public information. But go ahead, Self. What are your thoughts? Had you seen that?
I saw the very end of it, and I didn't know anything about how it went down like that.
Any other context?
Nothing. I just saw him on top of him and reach for his gun and shoot him. And I didn't have any other context at all. And I was like, wow, what is that?
Yeah. And I'm not an officer. You know, I know there's been, stuff on the internet about, we even covered it. Advantages of coming from Africa and living in Africa. Like they'll tell you they don't have the police bothering them like that because there's no racially charged stuff going on. But then, some of the African people, natives, will say, well, they don't get killed like that in the streets because they know how to, comport themselves. Well, there you go.
Yeah, well, I think it's more homogeneous police force in those areas.
Can you say homogeneous? Is that word been banned?
Not sure. I mean, you can say Homo erectus, I think. So I don't know.
All right. So I'm not an officer, but he seemed like he escalated that. First of all, if I'm an officer, I would try to be as calm as possible, right? Through the whole thing. Even when he's walking away. He wasn't running. He's walking away. You call for backup and you just describe what's happening. He first walked up, you got ID, all of this and all this. You speak English. And why won't they identify this man? He's a pubic servant, for God's sakes.
Yeah, it was tyranny. That's why.
Flat out.
I mean, they give up his camera, but not his name. I mean, what? Not going to say his name if he doesn't get charged. What?
So this man, rest his soul, is an ancestor because he was driving around with improper tags on his car and probably didn't have a license.
Yeah.
Because some officer couldn't shudder the thought of one guy getting away, or we have to drive down the street and get some backup and catch him later, or anything of this nature.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, you're supposed to serve and protect,
Oh, he served all right.
Yeah. Served
He
the
didn't
wrong.
protect.
I don't know what he was protecting. That was just ridiculous.
Big ups to Inside Edition that we pulled that from. And I agree with you, good brother. Flat out, hands down. tyranny. And anytime you see what's that attorney's name? Anytime you see him on the
Oh
channel,
yeah. I can't think of his name, but Trayvon. That's the Trayvon first
That's
time I
everybody.
really saw him. No, the
Yeah.
first time I really saw him though.
Yeah.
And then he's
Yeah.
at every scene.
Yeah. So 12, get your act together. All right. Because the people are peopless. This is for the listeners. All right, let's move on. We've got to move or not how to move segment, you guys, but then we're going to jump into it. Our topic today is what is protest voting and how it can be used as a B1 political strategy and or tool. How can we use this in our favor? Instead of the old way of, your people died and fought for the right to vote. You got to keep voting for these people, We're going to get there, Self.
Yeah.
Don't
forget the brain teaser too. Don't forget that.
Facts. We got to do that. But let's go ahead and move to how to move and not to move.
Would you let your kids do this? In this popular new Netflix show, you can see toddlers running errands all by themselves, not a parent in sight. It's called Old Enough, but many are saying it should be called Not Old Enough.
Introducing the concept to an American audience and sparking plenty of debate.
I would not do this. The show is hugely popular in Japan, and now Americans can see it on the streaming service. This 2-year-old goes on a 23-minute walk to buy food and flowers. He sticks out a yellow flag to alert motorists. He wants to cross a busy highway.
He's a big two.
Crazy. This 4-year-old girl is scared to leave home alone, but armed with a purse, a shopping bag, and a brave face, she heads solo to the fish market. And this 3-year-old boy's dad just asked him to fetch his jacket from home, which is a bus ride away. He gets on and off the bus alone. After picking up the jacket, the adorable tot wears it on his bus journey back to dad. While it's shocking many American parents, there are cultural factors to consider.
There definitely is that wow factor. Here in the U.S., we definitely do not give our children that kind of independence. And you could really see through the show that this is their way of life.
Of course, these kids aren't really totally alone. There's a camera crew and a producer recording everything. You can see a cameraman right there. And there's no denying seeing little ones do adult things is just plain adorable.
Watching the show brings so much happiness to so many people's faces.
Yeah.
That's not happening here. Not without the cameraman and the producer.
Right. They got the cameraman right there. I like it. I think that we baby our kids here in America. They're 20 years old and we're still saying they can't do this, do that. You know what I mean? I like it.
Got you on that, but it's a safety issue for how many children come up missing in this country.
Well, you got the cameraman right there.
I mean, everybody's not going to have that. That's a TV show. They talking about this is life for them outside of that.
No, that was BS news jargon. They don't let their kids walk around at 2 years old by themselves. That's why I had a cameraman with them. That's just BS. They don't know, not at that age, but they probably do foster a sense of independence, bro. Like what I'm saying is maybe as a parent, we could let the children lead the trip from time to time, and you can be behind them and say, hey, we're going to your grandma's house to get a jacket. We always ride this bus every day. Show me what to do. Like, bro, when I was like 9, I was riding the bus all over the city of Chicago. I know people are going to say times have changed and all that. It was cracking in the 70s. You know what I mean? Things were cracking in the 70s. Like, is it how to, no, you're not going to send your child out there alone, to run those errands at 2 or 3. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I think we could let them lead more instead of constantly telling them what they can't do. You saw those kids did it.
Right. Yeah.
Like, is that not mind blowing that these kids can actually do it?
No, because there's some extraordinary children. Like, I think my little people could have done that.
Right.
But there's the safety issue I was talking about. Because, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, I'm not talking about, sending your child out there 2 or 3 alone, through the
Right.
city of Chicago. But I would like to see us garner more independence in our children. That's called preparing them for teen years and adult years.
One of the schools I went to, the students had to decide a meal for their school. But it's only a few short, it was about 10 students or something like that. Very small school. And you had to design a meal, get the recipes, figure out everything you need to do, walk. It was about 3 blocks, maybe 4. And I think the store was like right across the street from Ray. And we had to walk in there and then purchase the stuff and bring it back and prepare the meal for the school. And I used
to be in that store every day.
I think
right on
8.
57th Street.
Yeah.
Right
8,
next to where the Kinko's used to be is.
8. I think I was 8, 7.
Yeah.
7
I
or
think
8.
it was the Kinko. I think it was the Kinko's. It became Kinko's, but it was right in that spot. Right
It was right over there. Yep. Because
I
the
used to be in
school
there every day.
The school I went to was in that church that's right on 56 in Woodline.
You weren't too far from the Blue Gargoyle. Surprised you didn't
Right.
play baseball for them.
Right.
So you used to be at the C Shop and all that over at the University C Shop. They had a little restaurant in there, cafeteria. I don't know if you ever.
Nah, we were.
Yeah.
It was a little small private school. Had nothing to do with the
I
school.
think I've seen that school, bro. I used to be all through there, man.
No, it was in the church. So
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
The church is there. The church is still there. It was a school. It was in the church, and the teachers, I think.
Is the church one of those white stone buildings like they got all over there? Like those old university buildings made to look old?
Yeah, it was a more. Yeah, I guess it was white at some point. It was gray, more gray.
Yeah, gray. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you've seen the church because it's huge. It's the whole, man, this goes all the way almost to the next block.
But wait a minute, did y'all go alone? Was there any chaperone? How many students were there?
It was 2 students, and I happened to be the oldest student in the school, and I think I had to be 9. You had to be 9. And I was with one of the youngest students in the school. I think he was 4.
Yeah, and it just taught you that you can do it.
Yeah.
All right. So I think Self says it's not how to move, and I'll say it's how to move as far as.
Well, as long as there's a producer and a cameraman with him, yeah, I agree. It's it's teaching them a lot.
Yeah, or a parent or a big brother. I mean, I would say even when you're going around with your child, you should be telling them, and this is how you do, and I'm not always going to be there with you, so show me the way. We've come this way every day. You know what I mean? As opposed to leading the child all the time, because I don't think that's going to help their brain synapses start firing and give them a sense of confidence that they can do things. I mean, you got parents saying, no, don't pour that water. You know what I mean? Because you might spill it. I might spill it. You know what I mean?
My mother has no idea all the places me and my brother was at. And then me and my friends after my brother showed me how to get around.
Yeah. And they tell you don't talk to strangers, and you knew who the weirdos were and when to take off running and hit them with rocks and stuff. But that's a whole nother story. All right. So, we're going to get on topic, but like you said, let's do the dome teaser. Here's today's dome teaser. And we're looking for the proverb. It's going to be a saying we're looking for. So, you can't live completely independently. Everyone needs help from other people. Yeah, I was going to give you a hint, but you got a thumbs up already. For those who might know, it was one of my rap aliases. You can't live completely independently. Everyone needs help from other people. What's the proverb there, chat? Type it in there so self-love is not always smacking you guys around. That's right. He's got it right. All right. Enough of the appetizers out there. Enough of the appetizers out there.
Let's quench the Self-Love Nation's thirst.
All right. There is no Pro Bowl video, so we're going to jump right into it. So as I mentioned, what is protest voting and how could it be used as a Black first political strategy? That's what we're going to break down and unpack here today. You know, we do a Q&A and just have a discussion. And then feel free out there in the chat, you know, to chime in. Chime. I'll even type a phone number in there. You guys can call in and let us know how you feel. If anything moves you to do it. Trolls get hoes around here. All right. In layman's terms, self-love, what is a protest vote?
It is a vote that either excludes a party because of their behavior or a candidate. And it could be to not vote at all as well.
Okay, hold on.
Because that hurts one party in particular. Sometimes, like you said, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting something different is insane. And that's the way that seems like one of these groups wants to box us in, and you know, so you're not Black if you don't know to vote for it.
Absolutely. And, you know, I just typed in the call-in number. Let me make sure that thing's lined up. We can get you. Yeah, it's lined up. So 424-900-6945. You can call in and be a part of today's show. That's the call-in number, and it's pinned in the chat. Feel free to use that number. It's troll free. Applicable charges, applicable, you know, charges may apply. We're not paying for you to call in, but you know. All right. And so Self, yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head with your definition. According to Wiki, I normally use Webster's, but you know, a protest vote is a vote cast in an election to demonstrate dissatisfaction with the choice of candidates or the current political system. Protest voting takes a variety of forms and reflects numerous voter motivations, including political alienation. Now, as a Black nation, do you feel any political alienation?
I absolutely do. So,
yeah, I mean, we're not a monolith, but I agree. I totally do. You know, until right before the elections, though, and you know, we're all one and we're dancing and shucking and jiving and whatnot.
I've been very unsatisfied for quite some time now.
Facts.
They say something and they do nothing. So just my opinion.
Time and time again. All right. Let me ask yourself, and I'm gonna ask the chat.
My bad. They do something. It's just symbolic instead of anything that would do anything. We get holidays and, you know,
Juneteenth Day
and people who are in blackface in power positions, and we're supposed to be okay with that. Yet they will do nothing for us.
And our brain gets massaged where, you know,
it's the first. Oh my God! Oh my God! It's the first. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? It's the first.
Where forgiving student loan debt, we somehow get brain massage to think that that's benefiting us more than pink people and
man
other races when we're the least to even attend college.
nothing specifically for us. It's something specifically for everyone else.
Facts. Facts. So why do, I don't want to say B1, but why does the African American community vote 85% for the Democratic Party? This is 85% is a block. It's been higher, but right now it's 85%. And the closest under that, I think, is the Latinx, and they vote like 67%, the same.
Well, it's a complete brainwash.
Wait a
That's
minute.
what
If
it
you
is.
ain't black, you ain't black if you don't vote for me. But go ahead, bro. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go
Complete
ahead.
brainwash. I mean, it's a complete brainwash. That's what really it is. People like to do what's easy and what's normal, and the other side is despicable. So it's a understanding of sorts, but you got to hold these people accountable. If you don't hold anybody accountable, every other group has a think tank, has a caucus that's that's about them and their business.
Right.
We
But
don't.
The question is, why do you think that we vote this way, though? Like, we don't agree on a lot of stuff. Why do we all go in, and not all, but 85% of us who vote?
It's a brainwash, because that's what we've been taught, one. And two, the other side is just completely despicable. I mean, they're all foot on your neck, from the public perspective. And they're nice guy foot on your neck.
Facts. And I'll add to that, there's a Lyndon Baines Johnson Civil Rights Act, which nobody even knows what civil rights mean. That was a word created to stop us from fighting for human rights. But, Lyndon Baines Johnson and Kennedy, and both the Kennedys, did so much for us.
BJ
the Democratic
racist.
Yeah, I'm not gonna know what's in Kennedy's heart, but they grew up out there in Cape Cod with Buffy, and you know what I mean.
They act
The
more
rest is
comfortable with around black people than that other guy.
Right, but so maybe that has something to do with it, and along with our parents may have voted that way, and then so who brainwashed us? Our ancestors, our parents, our elders.
Yes.
But so it had to be a reason, as they're going through the civil rights movement, and
One is straight foot on your neck, and the other is nice foot on your neck. Nice foot on your neck is better than the mean, angry foot on your neck.
Lesser of two evils. All right. Understood.
And they talk a good game. They come in there and they tell you all they want to do and what they want to do and how they're going to do it, and don't do nothing.
Well, along those don't do nothing, that brings me to my next point. What have the Democrats, the Democratic Party, or the Republican Party, what have they done for us lately? What have you done for us lately?
Specifically?
Well, they gave us Obama.
Nothing.
They gave us Obama.
Yeah, that's just a symbolic gesture. Just like Kamala, or whatever it is.
Kamala.
Yeah, same thing. Symbolic. They're not, neither one of them are B1, and neither one did anything or will do anything specifically. They'll tell you right off the back, right out of their mouth, oh no, I'm not going to do anything specifically.
Right. I'm the president of all the people.
And then they do something specifically for other groups. That's
for
what
everyone else.
That's what is like. Huh? Really? Okay.
Well, if I owned a business and 85% of my customers were black, and no matter what I did for them, right, served them all the stale food, gave them horrible service.
We're not 85% of their customers. 85% of us vote for them, but we still are not 85% of the vote for them.
Okay. So if I owned a business and I'm in a community with majority of other people, but 85% of the black people in that business comes into my place of business, and I can treat them anyway, serve them the worst food, but now they're getting me over the, they're getting
Over
me
the
over
hump.
the edge because,
Yes.
profits are thin, right? But they just keep coming back. They just keep coming back. Why would I change anything?
As a normal person, or you would see some humanity in them, but
Right.
these people aren't. I don't think they're capable of that.
Interesting.
I don't think they're capable of that.
Interesting. Well, we went into the whys. We were voting for Democrats, and we know that once we received our voting rights, we voted almost 100% for Republicans, right? Lincoln, the Emancipation Proclamation, what have you. So why did we stop voting Republican? Do you think that because the Dixiecrats, we know they were awful, bro.
Yeah. A lot of them
They were the
became
overt, right? That's what I'm thinking happened. Go
a
ahead.
lot of them, when Kennedy came prominent, they didn't like him and what he was doing. Him and his brother. Yeah, so it caused a switch. And the Republicans started spitting the jargon that the Dixiecrats had, and drew all those voters.
Okay. That makes sense. That really makes sense. All right. Well, we're unpacking some stuff here. All right. All right. So we're going to push past that. So that's why we stopped voting for Republicans, because, you had the Nixons and everybody coming out, and,
Also, they made it, once we got free, we voted Republicans in, some so-called black Republicans. We voted them in, and they were holding office, and then they started the Jim Crow in the Senate. And they started the Jim Crow, and they started making it very hard for us to vote, period. And that's when the
Republicans did.
The black codes kicked in. No, the Democrats. Yeah, the Democrats did. You remember back then it was more than a two-party. It was the Whig was involved in there too.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure when they died out or what have you, but there were some Whig people that won early on, but not by that time.
Yeah, there were some Whigs. They were holding some prominent offices back then. Let's see, when did the Whig Party die out?
It's just, now we got just two basic parties, and then they don't even take anybody else serious that tries to have a party. And it's ridiculous.
That's when you go back to the brainwashing you're talking about.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
They just lulled us to sleep. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty thorough, and we're gonna, unpack, we explained to you guys what protest voting is, and coming up in the second part after a brief break, that's where we're gonna get into the how we can should we use it, how we can use it, have we used it, and so, like, at what point do we stop giving our vote away as opposed to having someone earn our vote
right now?
Yesterday, Self.
Yes.
They're running Obama. They're running him out already, talking about this is the most important election, and we got to vote in the midterms, and blase. Yeah, they're running them out right now to drum up the quote unquote black base.
And he'll spew more nonsense.
Oh, he's been spewing it.
Hey, well, you gotta do what's right. We have to vote in the midterm because it's necessary for us to win.
And then so as Black people, it's not good enough for us to vote, right? For you to go in there and vote for a Libertarian or a Green Party or an Independent, you're throwing your vote away. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's my vote.
Yeah. And if you vote Republican, you're a sellout coon. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You ain't black.
You know me very well. And I have voted for Tory Wordsmith in the last couple of elections for president.
Yeah. On that note, hashtag elect Tory Wordsmith. You got my vote.
I'm gonna do it again, so not gonna run and go through all of that. But if you want to vote for me,
you got my vote.
Feel free. Y'all, in case y'all don't know, it's halftime, but I can't hear no music.
Can't hear the music?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I got the speaker far away. It's loud as it's gonna go.
Oh, okay. It's all good. It's halftime. This is the Self Luv Show, and we are breaking down how protest voting could become a viable political strategy for B1.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
We define protest vote and discuss some of the matters and why we vote heavily one way. And in the second half, we're going to expand the conversation and look at how it could be a political strategy. And got a few videos that'll be check out, very informing. And we'll be right back at you.
Halftime. It's going to be one video production. Sure does, bro. And you don't know what you don't know. And I don't want to get into private stuff, but it's like pledging Kappa at the Greater Beta chapter, right?
Yeah.
You know, you don't know what you're getting into, right? And then that first day, and then, you just got started. And next thing you know, you're finished. I'll just leave it at that.
Right. That's right.
Right.
A little bit more in between, but I got you.
What's your take on Black Lives Matter?
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
We know that they do, but whenever somebody takes it and massages it and puts it in something, I'm always a little concerned, right? Like so.
Speak. This is what we want to hear.
Shit, I'm thinking it through, but like, I guess shit needs a label at the end of the day. Less about labels, more about action, man. Like I always say, man, nobody wants the big back TV no more. They want thin shit, because that's old. So everything is supposed to progress. So I love the marching and shit like that, but I have to kind of feel like if it was done in the 50s, the shit probably ain't the primary shit we were doing in the 70s. Maybe it's a social media campaign. Maybe like everything has to grow and evolve. And Black Lives Matter, man. I mean, I don't really deal in the political realm a lot. But it's not my focus, man. Everything for me starts at the crib. It starts at the crib. Man. A lot of times, when it comes to, everything, man, it's Georgia, we got to take it back. Then what? then what rabbit are the Democrats going to pull off for us? Like,
bro,
they're
not even talking about us right now again.
Yeah,
they talking about what's about to happen now. We ain't
You know what I'm saying? Ain't no end for that, man. You know what I'm saying? Biden made his record. We we give him a pass because he was cool with it.
Man, he was stuffing the guys in prison, man.
Yeah, man. It's just so it's
the whole time.
At the end of the day, we're opting out of information. We're opting out of information, right? Because the information is out there about Biden, and go listen to the videos.
Man,
they're fucking terrorists. We need to lock them. Not because he rocked.
Bro, but I literally remember it.
Yeah.
Because that's how engaged I was in the 90s. I'm like, man, these cats are on some demonic stuff. I couldn't figure it out. But one thing my mom always says, this is always about the money. She always says, follow the money. Turned out it was about the money. CCA,
Absolutely.
those private prisons.
Private prisons. So, but he talked so dirty about us.
Oh my God.
And so many people just passes because he rocked with Obama, and
Kamala was locking black mothers up for the kids who were on truancy.
Facts, bro. Facts. Like not no regular.
Gonna be better.
Like not no regular. Like on the seek and destroy. And it's just like 20 years later, we give a pass because he was cool, our favorite president, and it's just so for us, man. We go in so many directions, brother. Like even now, as I see what's going on now, I hit one of my homegirls. I said, man, if you, and it's one of the big misses of our lifetime, bro, is that we didn't, as a people, we haven't locked into the minister the way that we should have, man. The minister is the nation, man. He's something special. The intellect is something special. The messaging is something special. Talked about America, man. If you ride through Chicago and you picked up your final calls, you watch America is heading toward destruction. What you see in today forever, because it was built off of what it was built off of. It was, and he gave all of these nuggets.
It's original sin.
Original sin. He gave all of these nuggets, man, and just we've decided again to not opt into the information because we want to think differently and we want to believe it's something different. But we miss it, man. We miss that, and like I told you, the theme of this, man, is if anybody's listening, if you're not where you want to be, it's because you're channeling out certain information and you need to channel it in. And watch me. Everything will get better, bro. And I'm not saying this from a theoretical. I've done it, bro. So you saying you asked me where you living at now, Noop? I was in the West Loop. $1,000 a month, rooftop parties, all of that. I was with a 559. So I'm still ignorant on certain things when it comes to financial literacy. And now I just told you how I've put $230,000 in my pocket because I've gotten literate. So I went from
because of knowledge.
Because of knowledge.
Hey, what's going on? This is Tanana. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.
Do you still have them?
I'ma show the world what they don't know. I'ma be the one. I'ma be the one when I'm done. Ain't lying, y'all. Higher. If I made it this far, I'll go higher. If I made it this far, I can make it anywhere. If I made it this far, if I made it this far, I'll go anywhere. High like I smoked a pound of that good shit.
Welcome back, the Self Luv Show, where today we are breaking down how protest voting could become a viable political strategy. And we broke down the definition, everything beforehand, and now we finna get into the meat of it and show and prove how it can be a viable political strategy.
Show and prove. Big ups to the 5% Nation. Big ups to Trife Mac. That's the artist that you're listening to right now. And he's from Oak Gale Gardens. If I gotta tell you where that is, I'm not going to. Chi-Town, I'll say that. Southside, I'll say that too. Rest of it, Google it if you need to. So big thanks to Trife Max for allowing us to use this song in our second intro. So YouTube, get off our back. I'll go anywhere. Anywhere. All right. Yeah, they're gonna ding us. They're definitely ding us. Okay, so yes, so that's what we're covering. What is protest voting and how could it be used as a tool or be one political strategy? Maybe some smelling salts out there for both parties, but we're going to jump into that right now. We kind of hit on this, Self, but why do you feel that we aren't rewarded with any concrete commitments or any action by politicians on both sides? They're good people on both sides. Both sides.
They don't have to. That's why, because they don't have to.
Facts. I mean, if I'm the Republicans, I'm like, they're not going to vote for us.
So
right?
Nothing. Give them
right.
nothing.
And if I'm the Democrats, I'm like, well, they're going to vote for us regardless of what we do.
Right. So you don't have to do anything.
Facts. And you guys, the phone lines are open, troll free. Standard rates and messages apply. So that's 424-900-6945. That's 424-900-6945. It's completely
troll free.
That's right. Trolls get holes around here. So
absolutely.
Yeah, try us if you want to. Well said. I mean, I don't think it's we have to belabor that. I think you said it plain and simple. And you might even say, when they say the lesser of two evils, you might even say that the conservatives hate us more. But hate is hate.
Yeah.
All right.
Conservatives, they love sheeple, but only people that's going to listen to their rhetoric. And we've been told that all their rhetoric is bad, and all the Democrat rhetoric is good. And for one, I call them the Democrats and the Republicans. Nice. So I don't like either one of them, for the record. Before somebody starts putting some mess in the chat talking about some, he don't like the Democrats. He must be a Trumpster.
Yeah. We want to defund them both. If we're going to defund, we definitely, at least, defund them both. Yeah, well said, bro. And so, and I used to have this conversation with people that when I study what it means to be quote unquote conservative, right? I can truly see why out the gate, outside of Emancipation Proclamation, what have you, as a Black community, when we see what this tyrannical government does to us and we're at the bottom, it would seem that we would want the government as small as possible and just defend ourselves, our women, and our children ourselves. I think the late, great Malcolm X said, words are, pretty much just words, but, if a man puts his hands on you, try your best. I'm misquoting them, but to the effect of try your best to put them in the ground.
Facts.
Right. All right. Did you hear that, Chris Rock? Big ups to Chris Rock. Here we go. What has hiding Joe Biden done for us now that he's been in office? And, we don't want to be cynical.
Nothing. Not a thing.
Well, he just nominated the Black woman for the Supreme Court.
She's blackface. She's not B1. She fits all the criteria. She does not do well for us at all in court. And she has a white husband.
He took a Black female as a vice president and the Black female Supreme Court justice nominee.
She's in blackface.
Both of them?
Yes.
Okay.
Anybody that they put in power, or so-called power, because we know they don't run nothing but their mouth.
They're puppets.
Yes. and they put black puppets up there. So be like, oh, she's the first Supreme Court justice, and you can't what you got a black faced woman out there, and that's great. That's great. The same thing for the vice president. Get the black woman vice president, and she's so and we and she ain't did nothing. Told us when she was running for president that she wouldn't do nothing.
And they all got white husbands behind them.
Oh yes, that's the boxes that they got to check.
That whole squad in the Congress.
Actually,
they all got
everybody that he put up, because he put up I think was it 3 candidates?
They got a pink man pounding them.
Yeah. Yep. They checked the box. Oh, that one. Okay.
And this Supreme Court justice, I heard there was a case against one of the major, those companies that supply the military. Can't think of the name. It was out here in Cali, I think. And the black folks cried racism, right? It got up to her federal jurisdiction. The company was willing to pay a settlement of X amount of dollars. She came out there and said, no, you're not going to pay these people anything.
And they cannot take it to another court.
Yeah. Yeah, that's your black woman. Not all black women, but that's your black face that Self Luv is talking about. All right. And you love who you love, but it's just a coincidence that all of them have a pink man behind them.
Right. It's no coincidence. It's just crap.
So if you guys take this thought experiment further, imagine if black folks had made white people prisoners of wars and called them slaves and less of a man, and then the white folks wanted their rights, and then we started putting white women in offices, and they all had a black man behind them. Guess we do our lips like this at that point. All right. Here we go. All right. Stereotypes. I think we broke that down pretty well. All right. So we broke down. So nothing else besides that. I mean, I think Obama and everybody was thinking about putting Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. That's still
hogwash. They ain't thought about nothing.
That sure got out of the news cycle.
Yeah, because is that a real person? Does she actually exist? Because I'm not sure. I've done some research and I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Well, that's a good question. I haven't seen any of her descendants running around saying, you see the descendants of Dr. King and,
Well, we saw Dr. King,
Right. But I'm
talking about some 200 years ago. There's one guy, there's one dude saying he was her
Harriet's great grandson or something.
Mm-hmm. Yep, one guy, but I'm not buying it. I think somebody told him that. He doesn't know that fact.
Well, next question. Why do Democratic candidates appear to ride the racial bandwagon just prior to each election cycle? I mean, they're showing up at black churches, dancing and smacking the tambourine and talking about police issues, policing, and stuff like that. And every election, Self, I'm sure you know this, every election, they start pointing out how racist the Republicans are.
That's how they rile us up to vote for. It's more of the brainwash. And you gotta question the churches that allow these politicians into there. You gotta question all of them.
You mean they got paid?
I don't know about payment, but it's something going on. It is absolutely something going on.
Yeah,
You know,
I think they're getting paid.
that's good possibility because it you know, or it's something they're being allowed to do that they wouldn't be able to do if they didn't let them come in there.
And King, I'd be remiss if I didn't point out, you know, they did a poll on this, and, you know, 69% of conservatives, when asked if you and I were subhuman, 69% of the conservatives said, yes, we are subhuman. Same poll, they asked the liberals, the same poll, 60% said that they see us as subhuman. So when we say, you know, lesser of two evils and one is racist and one isn't, we're talking about a 9% difference. And, you know, in polls, there's that, what do you call that? Margin of error.
The margin of error, yeah.
Yeah, which is 2 to 3%. So we're probably talking about a 5 to 6% difference, bro.
Well, one thing that I can say, that the education system in this country has been a complete disservice to everybody, because a lot of them was taught the same bunch of lies that we were taught. And they have been taught that they are superior. And they can't see it for what it is. That's why they have a hard time when you tell them the truth about their origins and where they came from.
You're so right about that.
And they
so
get
just like
very
we're
upset.
subliminally being educated that we're inferior because we get all that Greek and
Yeah.
Roman history and everybody was white. Everything in history is white.
Man, they
Right.
went white all the way back to Adam.
Right. So
And-
it's subliminally making them have a superiority complex, and it could affect the black child into having an inferiority complex. And then education was not about creating independent thinkers. It's about
No.
creating robots, slaves, and workers.
So they want to teach them that they're better, and they want to teach us that we're worse. And I mean, nothing, even in his story, tells that tale. If you look at what they say about what happened. And a lot of studying has to go back into some old books, you know, before there was even considered race. Everybody want to act like race went all the way back to the beginning of time, but there was a time when it was only our people on the planet and running stuff. And a whole lot of the people that they've taught us was white or pink or not. You know, it didn't even become an issue until the 15th century.
So you're saying like young children, when they're still in theta, like we don't see color, we're playing in the sandbox with every kid of every race and having fun. That was humanity.
Yes.
And then that was something programmed into one generation, which then programmed it into all the next generations.
What happened is we taught them and treated them as human when they weren't behaving like humans.
Right. We taught them how to clean and, you know, how not
That
to
you
die
don't live
early.
in, don't share your bedroom with the horse or a pig
or the sheep.
Yeah, those things don't live in your house.
Right.
And taught them about science and all this.
Math, yeah.
Yeah. And we were very humane to them. And they was on something completely different.
Okay. Well, in what way do you think that a protest vote, in what way, if any, do you think that protest voting can be harmful to the B1?
I'm going to have to say, like from personal experience here in the state of Illinois, where a couple of preachers got the population or enough of the population for a Republican governor to be put in and put them two people in position to be whatever they were, but it still was harmful because his view was not going to raise us up. Neither would the other candidate either, though. So,
right, because I would be interested in knowing what the Democrats then did next to prevent that from happening in the next election cycle. But I could see. Go ahead.
Not much, because it was not favorable. His actions, what he did, was not in our behalf. So it kind of went back to business as usual.
Yeah, it's all in how it was framed.
Yeah.
Okay. I know what you're saying. He was a shill pretty much. He wasn't for the people. That's
right. Or for us at all. He had his ideas. He's I'm trying to think his name, but he was a businessman. He wasn't a politician.
Right.
And they put him in and he tried to run the state like a business, and 40-50% of businesses left and took their headquarters and stuff out of Illinois.
All right. So it brings us to the magic question. In what ways do you think protest voting could work? Ice Cube was talking about this before the last election when he was trying to get some, concrete commitments from the Democrats. And he said, listen, right now we just need to get Trump out of office. We don't have time to discuss this with you. We'll talk to Khloe Kardashian about it. Or
Cardi
Kim
B.
Kardashian. Yeah. Or
Cardi B.
Yeah. Cardi B. But we won't discuss it with you, black man. But right after the election, we're going to put everything in place and everything. So that all being known, and this wasn't the first time this has happened.
Happens every time.
Correct. So in what
Be
way?
patient.
Yeah.
Be patient. You just give them a chance. They're gonna do something. Just be patient.
Was you a Trumpster? What you gonna do? You gonna vote for Trump?
Be patient. I
don't
for
care.
Tory Wordsmith.
I've heard, I don't care who's in office as long as it ain't Donald Trump. We could have had Hitler or Satan running against Trump.
What do you mean? We do.
You don't know what's in Joe Biden's heart.
I do. He said it so many times on the record. So many times.
He eulogized the grand wizard of the KKK when no other politician, and a politician's to take
called him his mentor.
Yeah. No other politician would even think of doing it.
It's written every crime bill's name, been on every single crime bill since I was born.
Have you ever watched that eulogy? You guys can pull it up on YouTube and you can see him sitting there talking about Byrd, was it? Senator Byrd or something like that? Yeah. He
Pink
really
people.
Oh yeah, that was a great man in Biden's eyes. The former grand wizard.
And black children are like roaches. If you let them into the school system, you'll never be able to get rid of them.
But you ain't black if you don't vote for the KKK.
Man, I just can't understand. Like, to me, I feel like it's all set up anyway. To me, they had Obama so they could have Trump, so they could have this clown.
I agree. It's always a domino.
Yeah, because no way this clown gets in.
No.
When he was, more aware of what's going on.
So they fanned Trump's racism, but then they tried to bury Biden's racism.
Oh man.
When Biden has done more harm to the black community throughout his career and his life than Donald Trump has.
Facts.
And again, we're not saying vote for Trump. We understood what everybody was up against, but you didn't have to vote for either of them.
Tory Wordsmith for president.
Well, there were some candidates, man, that, had a good platform, but let's just say 85%, there's a civil war in this country. It's been going on since Reconstruction, since the Civil War. Conservatives against liberals or progressives. And so we're for lack of a better term, we've been the monkey in the middle. And
been able to push it one way or the other.
Correct.
Just enough of a group.
Correct.
Man, if we worked like that and told them, see, that's what needs to happen. We need to say, hey, this is what we need.
Show them. But see, we have to show them by not voting for either of them in an 85% block. And then when the election results come in, whoever loses, I don't care what party they're in, is going to say, man, we could have won, and we can win the next election cycle if we can get those 85% of Negro, I don't care what they call us at that point, coons, subhumans. If we can just get them to come to our side, that'll tip the scale. So then I think a funny thing would happen, Self Love. They would come to the negotiating table and we'd have all the bargaining chips.
I hope so, but they paint the picture that most of us don't vote anyway. And they're not going to vote.
But they also
ain't done nothing. They don't want to do nothing. Like
they
even
paint that picture, but they also paint the picture that we tip the scale for Democrats whenever they win. They paint that picture.
Yeah, a little bit. Not the Republicans. I don't think will care.
So don't protest vote.
I'm not saying don't protest vote. I'm just saying.
I personally think the Republicans would care. I think that if we stopped just voting like slaves for the Democrats, that the other party, if they're motivated by power and money, that they would care. I think they would care. I think they don't care because we keep voting for Democrats. I think that's why they don't care.
Respect that opinion. I can respect that opinion.
That's literally why they don't care.
I just happen to think they don't care because they don't care.
69% of them think we're subhuman, and 60% of the liberals think we're subhuman. So if that's the case, neither of them care.
Exactly. Now we're in agreement.
Correct. But
neither
of them care. Neither of them will care. They both need us. Well, you're right.
If we protest vote and don't vote for either, I think the Republicans are going to win.
And see, that's part of the, and I say, so what?
Right.
And I say,
I'm in agreement with you, but I'm saying,
I say 50.
I think that's why they still ain't going to care. That's my point.
Okay. So if you notice, we've voted every election one way, and Democrats don't win every time. Can we agree?
Facts.
50% of the time a Republicans winning, 50% of the time a Democrats win, right?
I don't know the numbers, but it can be that way, yeah.
So we voted. We've been disappointed with Bush, Reagan. We can go down the line. I remember Reagan was the devil. Bush was the devil. The other Bush was the devil. Then we talked about, we've unpacked on this show what Bill Clinton has done. We've unpacked what some of those Democrats have done, when they were in office against the B1. All of them. So, but whenever it's a Republican, they're the devil, right? That's what they tell the Black community.
Right. It's the brainwash.
Just vote correct. I feel like if I'm just talking negotiations, if say, one person, if our men and women got together, men of reason, and I think just what Ice Cube was talking about, and that's all Kanye was saying, I think we need to sit down and talk to both parties, and we'd have more negotiating power. Look, the 85 of us who voted for Mickey Mouse, who sat there and wrote Malcolm X's number on their name on their ballot, those 85% of us, we want to hear what you got to say. And whichever party doesn't care at that point, fine. If it's only the Democrats who care, then let's hear what you got to say. If they both say they don't care, we keep voting for Malcolm X every year until they find it important enough to care. I think we have to almost call their bluff, bro, because when the Republicans in office, are things really worse for you?
Okay, depends what part of the office. The presidency don't even matter to my life. It hasn't ever really mattered to my life.
But even okay,
but
so
the
that
Congress,
right,
and
and the
stuff.
Supreme Court, that's what they get us all involved in, right? Right. So let's go down this thought experiment. They get all office, which Democrats have had, which Republicans have had. You know, Republicans have a conservative court. Nobody's voted us back into slavery. Nobody's voted us back into nobody's voted abortion rights gone. All of these fear tactics.
That's
no, I mean as a federal government.
Right.
What I'm saying is those things that go ahead, bro. What was you about to say?
I mean, some states have. You broke it back to federal.
Some states have, right, but and it'll eventually go to the court. But what I'm saying is that so if those states voted, then that's something we have to deal with, and then that's going to make our 85% even that much more important, so that we can get control of this again. If that's the case, what I'm saying is Democrats have won. Our communities are shit. Republicans have won. Our communities are shit.
Yeah. I'm at the point where I almost want to just pull out of this. We need to do our own thing because we can't win in that game. And that's what it is to them. It's a game. It's a shell game. And they're working together. They can act like they hate each other when they making these laws or whatever, but it's a sham. They work together.
Glad you said that. And that sends a message. So one of the precursors of what Sharuka Israel said, my Hebrew brother, black Hebrew brother, and that's an oxymoron, sister, but that's an oxymoron. Black Hebrew, it's an oxymoron. My Hebrew sister. What Sharuka said is, burn it down or sit down. So what the messaging of protest voting would be, what if only 5% of the people, I don't care what color they are, voted in the election? That's a precursor, when you study politics, of bloody revolution.
Yeah. I mean, once everybody realizes
it's a sham,
that it's a sham and it's just slavery, and our employees get way better than we do, it's going to be a problem once they realize that the people who deny us from having health care have the best health care in the country. Meanwhile, they voted themselves a raise amongst all this crap that's going on.
During a bad economy, so-called. Right. I mean, here's what I'm saying. I'm saying we should sit it out, vote for the candidate who's saying, I'm pro reparations. We've had them. They haven't been on the left or the right. That just is right out in debate. I'm pro reparations. I want to make this happen. We should continue to vote for those candidates, whoever the hell they are. That's going to wake up, should, maybe, possibly. But if it doesn't, then so what? It doesn't. We're still where we are now. But to continue on down this path we've been going down and having every person in blackface and every black intellectual come out before the midterms and before the national election cycle and start talking about those other guys are evil and they hate you, when in this country we were enslaved and we, like you said, we had 3 parties and nobody did anything about it.
Still 3 parties or 4 or whatever, but they're not even considered legitimate. It's like
nobody even takes them seriously.
Facts.
But I did like you, bro. I mean, I've had elections where I voted for, Mickey Mouse. You know what I'm saying? But normally I vote for the Green Party. They've had some things I liked. I voted for the Libertarians, their platform. You guys can look up that. And I just ask you to, do your own due diligence, do your own research, vote on a candidate by candidate basis. But I assert to the listeners, anyone who can hear my voice, that if we keep going along these lines and voting like robots, just because, we don't want to do the research, or just because they're on TV all the time saying the other guys are evil. If you won't vote for me, you ain't black. And guess what? I ain't black then. You know what I mean? I'm a spiritual being.
You know me, black is, I want to eliminate that from us too, because
right,
black is everything negative, and especially in law. So we got to figure out another term.
And Ice Cube predicted this. You're right. And Ice Cube predicted this, and everybody,
said he was a sellout for meeting with both sides.
Yes.
What? Are you stupid?
Because right now we got to do all hands on deck to get rid of Trump.
Man.
One thing Trump did do was get a lot of people out of jail.
And allowed felons to vote.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't get that from Obama.
You didn't get anything from Obama.
Come on, he was president for 8 years. He had to have done something for us.
Nothing for black people.
They're building a library on the South Side. Right,
they build every president that it gets a library. So
but right there on the South Side, right?
Yeah, it's gonna cause more problems than it serves anything. Is they putting it right
there on the Rockefeller campus instead of somewhere around say Chicago State or something like that.
Near the Rockefeller campus, but it's going to be right on Stony Island, and get rid of the Cornell Drive, the quick way to go through the park. Get rid of that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, though, he's putting it in an area that's already nice, but they're claiming South Side. But, you could have put it somewhere more dangerous, and then that could have sparked some gentrification. There was some brothers in Woodlawn area, and how awful that area has become. And so, how awful it's been, and they were trying to get him to build his library there, and he didn't do it.
Yeah, it's right outside of Hyde Park High School,
right? In the rock, right
in the hood, and in the hood, there's nothing really there but parks.
Yeah, I would have built mine right smack dab in Inglewood. I'm just saying, obviously, it's just showing me that the Rockefellers paid him. The Rockefellers paid him. That's what I'm saying.
The Rockefellers developed the whole school system,
correct,
and the medical system.
And then they base it after what country was that? I think you sent me a TikTok on that.
The education is based on the Prussian line of education, and the Prussians they were making critical thinkers until they got into a war.
And the people didn't want to fight.
The critical thinkers was like, no, I'm not.
You want me to go up that hill and get slaughtered?
Yeah.
Right.
They were like, no. So they changed the whole school system to make robots and puppets.
Yeah.
And the Rockefellers went and studied that.
Yeah. And instilled it. And that's why they put so much money into the education system, make themselves.
I saw something today why we don't have so many black doctors is because
go ahead.
They came up with some absolute crap that black people had way more germs than white people. And they closed like 459 black medical schools based on that. So we only had 2 black medical schools, Meharry.
Yeah, one of them was in Chicago, wasn't it?
Meharry Medical and Howard University. For a long time, it was only black. Long time.
Yeah, I know IIT. One of them started by a brother. They were saying that was one of the first, but he was from the South, I think. So
the hospital now, that was they had a hospital. That hospital on 51st. It was the hospital, not the medical school.
Right, to take black residents, because there wasn't even if you did make it out of one of those medical schools, you couldn't even get a job at a hospital, probably because they thought you were going to get white people germs or something.
It was just all crap, and it was just based on crap. Still to this day, it was a long time that you could not even apply for medical school unless your parent was a doctor.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. You know how many
It's
people
the
could have
same
saved
thing.
lives?
Same thing is you can't vote if your father couldn't vote.
You know how
Same
many-
crap.
You know how many brilliant people couldn't become doctors that probably could have solved cancer and everything by now that
No, that stuff's
didn't even get
solved.
an opportunity.
That stuff is
Well,
solved, man.
yeah.
Big
Yeah,
Pharma is
well.
not letting that get out.
Yeah. Big ups to Dr. Sabi and rest his soul. All right. You got any final words on the topic, bro, as we close out? And I just say I'm gonna leave mine with I'm for protest voting. And I'm over the Democrats as I've been over the Republicans. So there we go.
Yeah, I've been protest voting. Like I go vote by individual elections, and some elections I will not vote at all. And we need to regroup and get ourselves together,
man,
and figure out what we want from these people and simply tell them as a group, simply tell them that we need this. If you're not about this, then we're not going to vote for you. And then hold them accountable to it. It has to be accountability.
That's
That's
facts.
That's all I'm saying.
That's facts. I look at this. I don't know. They lie about the numbers, right?
Lie about everything that they've ever said.
But let's just say there's 14 million foundational blacks in America right now. And if they're claiming, well, all of us don't vote. So let's just say, what percentage would you say of us vote, Self? I'd love to have that number, but if you had to take a stab at it.
I think it's low.
Give me a percentage.
40.
Okay. And I was thinking 50, so we'll say 45%. So 45% of 14 million vote. Yes. Well, I gotta add another zero. Okay. 0.45. That is 6.3 million. Basically, we're telling themselves that we got 5.4 million votes for you. 5.4 million votes for you. If we can come together as Umoja, unity, we can, like Self said, take a step back, retract like Voltron, sit it out if you have to, vote for Tory, vote for Mickey Mouse, vote for one of the other parties that, you're throwing your vote away. If we did that, it's one united front. And then the next cycle comes around and we say, look, we're sitting here with, 6 million votes. You want them or you don't. I think that at least, I was told by my elders, a lot of people won't like you. At the end of the day, you want to garner respect. And that's why, that's how I move in the United States. You don't have to like me. That's how I moved in a community. You don't have to like me, but we're going to find a way to respect one another.
You're going to respect, period.
Right. Right. So, just, you guys ponder on that. As I'm sure many of us have, because it's a lot of like minds in here. Didn't get a lot of chatter in the chat, but that's all good. You can always, drop your comments. Let us know, in the comments, if you're watching this video late, are you protest voting? Are you against it? Do you think it would be an effective tool? To at least get some of these politicians attention and wake them up, smelling salts, so to speak. So, all right. So now we're going to jump up. That wraps it up for today. We're going to solve the riddle here, which self-love is already solved. And the riddle is, you can't live completely independently. Everyone needs help from other people. Self-love, what's the proverb we're looking for?
No man is an island.
Facts. No man is an island. So that's why we got to come together like Voltron. Very appropriate. Good job, Self-Love. You solved another one. All right. And then next week, the 427 show is titled Starting a Startup with CEO and founder of Zip Zap. We got Boykin Grafford III. And what they're doing is getting in alignment to, be providing the power for all these EVs and stuff that's coming out. I personally am employed at a startup. The last 4 companies I worked for were startups. So we're going to talk about the pros and cons of, working for a startup, starting a startup, and things of that nature. And Self, what say ye?
Yep. It's a lot of great information going to be bestowed upon the Self-Love Nation.
Yeah, and this is a very good brother that's down for the people. And, we got to get out here and, support one another's endeavors as well. Maybe invest. We'll talk about that. And then so tomorrow we got Mouthpiece Included. We're covering the best. And last week we did the all-time offensive team and special teams players. That was fun. This week, we all know the Bears are predicated on what, so?
Defense.
That's right.
Monsters of the midway.
Yes, right. Monsters. Bear down. So we're going to cover the all-time defense. We're not saying like the 85 Bears. We all know that was the best team, in my opinion, as far as defense as one unit. But we're going to plug out the best players at every position in the history of the Chicago Bears and put them on one team. That's tomorrow. It's an open mic, meaning you can pull up. We'll drop the link into the chat. That's at 9 p.m. Central Standard. That show is scheduled to run like an hour and a half. So feel free to join in, but do not forget to bring your mouthpiece, guard your grill, knuckle up. That show's entitled Mouthpiece Included. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't forget your mouthpiece.
Don't forget to bring your mouthpiece. And then we got, and we're also going to cover the greatest coaches. So we'll choose a head coach, defensive coordinator, and offensive coordinator as well. So
nice.
Yeah. So we're going to break that down. That should be fun. And enough of my yapping. We're going to turn it over to my personal favorite part of the whole shebang. And that's Wordsmith's final words out there.
As you know, I'm going to say a protest vote is in order. Because for way too long, we've been voting for people that lead us to slaughter. We ought to think better and do different. And we need to change our mind in an instant. Listen close. No, I don't brag or boast, at least too much. But from coast to coast, they've been doing the most. We get killed over a basic traffic stop. They don't want to give his name. And fuck the cops. They are ops, along with the government.
Fuck 12.
We need to do something to truly represent for ourselves. We need to hold our own votes, have our own government. We need our own constitution, because they got to give us restitution It's not no illusion. Clear all confusion. This has to happen, and it will. We gotta keep building for real. There's still room for us to grow and come together, make the ultimate flow. All skin ain't kin. But that's where we begin. Because the ones that are for real. The ones that ain't are opposition. They're just a dark pink. And they stink even worse.
Pink stink.
I'm almost at a point where I'm gonna protest the whole system. Because I don't even want to mess around with them. They lied and denied every treaty they ever wrote. Forked tongues and double talk. Whenever they spoke, they ain't told us the truth about anything since they got in charge of the educational system. Lie after lie after lie after lie. They even taught their children. So they believe that they're superior when they know it's a lie. They try to kill us off, but they the one that died. Your negative birth rate demonstrate your whole position. And you trying to raise radiation like nuclear fission. But you're missing the point that you're killing yourselves. Because we're going to be here. The indigenous wealth. Words.
Hey, big ups. Great job, bro. Big ups to Minister Wakil. L, see you out there, bro. And we talking to you people who've been voting conservative like slaves. You black.